Hello, I'm Daniel, and welcome to the Emunah Project. We here at the Emunah Project are not only all about spreading light, we're here about shedding light. And I'm going to try and shed light on a question that sometimes comes up with people who are just starting to make connections with Judaism and with synagogues and with other Jews. Whether you're a convert or a Baalei Tshuva who has had very little contact with Jewish culture, Judaism, the Jewish people. And that is the difference in pronunciations of certain words. Why do some people say Shabbat and some people say Shabbos? Why do some people greet you Shabbat Shalom and the another person say Good Shabbos? Why is a Jewish prayer book by some people called a Siddur and by others a siddur? Why is a prayer shawl a talit to some, and others call it a talis? The fringes, tzitzit, tzitzis. What's going on here? In order to understand, you need to start off with a basic knowledge of the Hebrew language and its relation to other languages. The Hebrew is a Semitic language. It was from the Middle East. It's related to Aramaic. It's related to Arabic. The Hebrew language, over the years, has adopted many pronunciation styles. I'm going to concentrate on two right now. The first is the Sephardi style. This was in ancient Spain, throughout North Africa, in the Middle East, for Mizrahi Jews, in Iraq. It's the modern Israeli pronunciation of Hebrew. That follows certain rules, and I'm going to talk about two of the rules right now. As a general rule, it's not hard and fast. As a general rule, the accent, the stress, the emphasis is on the final syllable. Shabbat, Siddur, the word for custom, minhag. As a general rule, that emphasis falls on the final syllable in the Sephardi and the modern Israeli pronunciation of Hebrew. About 1,000 years ago, Jews went into Central Europe, Eastern Europe, the Baltics, the Ukraine, Western Russia, and they created about 1,000 years ago a language called Yiddish. Yiddish is a European language. It's a Germanic language, like German, like Dutch, and a lot of people don't know this, English. English is just a Germanic language. As a result, it follows certain rules with respect to where that final emphasis is. While in Sephardi pronunciation, the accent is usually on the final syllable. The accent is on the final syllable. In Ashkenazi pronunciation, the emphasis is usually on the second last syllable. So, in, for example, modern Israeli Hebrew, you say Shabbat, and you say minhag, Siddur, emphasis on the last syllable. In Ashkenazi pronunciation, Shabbos, minhag, Siddur, mitzvah, on the second last syllable. That's one difference between the Ashkenazi and the Sephardi. The emphasis on the last syllable for Sephardi and the second last syllable for Ashkenazi. Now, you'll also notice that in some of these pronunciation differences, it has to do with the final letter sound. Shabbat and Shabbos. A prayer shawl. Some say talit, talus. The fringes, tzitzit, tzitzis. This is not only a difference in where the emphasis is on the syllable. This is a difference in sound completely. And the culprit in this little question is this letter. This is the final letter of the Hebrew alphabet, the Tav. And you will notice that one has a dot, a dagesh, one has a dot, and the other one doesn't. And this is where we have the issue. In the Sephardic pronunciation, whether the Tav has a dot or doesn't makes no difference to the pronunciation. It's pronounced as a T. Mitzvot, tzitzit, mezuzot. Whether it has or has not, it's a T. However, with the Ashkenazi pronunciation, if it has the dot, if the Tav has the dot, it's a T, just like the Sephardi pronunciation. However, if the Tav does not have a dot, in an Ashkenazi pronunciation, it's pronounced like an S. So that's why Shabbat, Shabbos. You have the emphasis on the second last syllable and the Tav without the dot as a sis. Shabbos, Talis, Tzitzis, Mitzvahs, Mezuzahs. That's why. When you don't come from a culture, a minhag, minig, now you know why. Why is one minhag? Sephardi pronunciation, emphasis on the last syllable. Minig, Ashkenazi pronunciation, accent on the second last syllable. When you're in a community, when you're getting involved with the Jewish people and Judaism, depending on where you are and what synagogue you're with and what community you're with, they will have, by and large, a certain pronunciation depending on who they are. You may, as a Baalei Tshuva, have a family tradition, a family minig, a family minhag. When you're a convert, you don't have a minhag. You're coming at this new. So you can generally choose, if you're in a synagogue that pronounces things both ways, pick one. If it pronounces certain things certain ways, you may want to blend in. If you're in a synagogue where everyone says Good Shabbos, you may not necessarily want to say Shabbat Shalom. It's important to blend in. It gives you a good feeling. You become part of the community, and that's very, very important to both the Baalei Tshuva and the convert. Become part of the community. So this is a little insight in why the differences in pronunciation. It's an Ashkenazi Sephardi thing. This goes back many, many, many years. For the Ashkenazi, at least 1,000 years. Sephardi, 2,000 years, at least 1,000 years, 2,000 years. And one thing, don't be drawn into the argument or into the mindset that one style of pronunciation is somehow correct and the other is incorrect, that one is right and one is wrong. If I had a buck for every time a well-meaning Israeli came up to me to try to correct my pronunciation when I said Shabbos, Talis, mitzvahs, I'd be rich. Whatever feels good for you, whatever tastes good in your mouth, do it. You may want to be consistent. If you choose an Ashkenazi style, say all the words in Ashkenazi. If you decide as a convert, for example, that no, I want to have a modern Israeli pronunciation, stick with it, be consistent. We'll get into, I think I'll do another video with respect to the difference between accents and dialects, because there are differences in pronunciation, for example, within the Ashkenazi pronunciation, depending on where the pronunciation came from, they could be quite different. But that's a subject for another video. We'll be doing more videos. Please come, please watch, please listen, please learn. I hope they're of interest to you. I hope this cleared up a question. Until next time, on behalf of the Emunah Project, I'm Daniel, and thank you so much.